and the golden voice of Neal Ruhl. Sit back and relax. It's time for your daily dose of Big D energy.
Yo, welcome back, everybody, to a Tuesday edition of Big D Energy, right here on the Woodward Sports Network. That guy, Darren McCarty, is back. My name is Neal Ruhl. Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter. The OG squad is here. I have my Grandpa Joe Sucks t-shirt on, courtesy of Doug Durkee and the fine folks at Shred It. Spencer Raxter misunderstood the assignment. Did not wear his today, but I have it on. So it's right there for everyone to see. Grandpa Joe does in fact suck. It says it on a t-shirt.
Hey, Spenny, don't hit your head underneath the bus there. You just got thrown underneath.
All right, yeah, I'll take it.
Hey, what is this guy worried about? Cash money, lunch on Spenny. You be collecting today, boy, aren't you?
Yeah, I want a cool $250 off of the Nuggets. Hey, I'll take that.
Hey, that's me and his
the
money.
sportsbook is open, and I am. Yesterday, I'm taking the sports book on playoffs for the Red Wings, so we can get into it.
Okay, we are. Hey,
I know.
we're going to touch on it, man.
Hey, listen, for everybody out there, Gabby brought in the first aid kit just in case somebody might shed some blood today.
That's fair.
That is true. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Jump in on that and get your thoughts out there. And get it in. John Lord stats are stats. It didn't help the Lakers getting swept last night. The Lakers got swept?
Yeah.
They did?
They did.
Well, I'm sure.
I'm not saying karma's real, and I'm not saying, Sam, you might have had something to do with that. Just your attitude yesterday might have put the dagger in. I'm just saying, or am I, Neal? It's just, is it sexual or is it sexual?
You didn't have anything to do with it.
No.
We think.
But did I?
But we don't know.
Or didn't I?
Yeah,
I think
but we don't
Sam
know for
and
sure.
His negativity.
David Mentier wants to know, is Flannel okay? Are you okay? First off, are you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm okay. I'm a little shaken, but before we go any further, let me just say this. There's something that I haven't done that I should have done more often. Congratulations to the Denver Nuggets. They were clearly the better team. Nikola Jokic was phenomenal in that series. I mean, he gave you 28, 15, and 12 on great efficiency, and Jamal Murray gave you 33, 6, and 5 on phenomenal efficiency. 53% from the floor, 41% from three. His efficiency numbers skyrocketed, and his counting numbers skyrocketed from the regular season, and the Nuggets shot 40% from three from the series. They played a great brand of basketball, and I don't think many teams in the history of the NBA were beating that Nuggets team the way that they played. So it's long overdue. Here are my flowers to the Denver Nuggets.
Data Davis, half man, half a series, alternate days Davis. However you know him as. Was he the third best big man on the floor?
Oh, he was clearly the second best big man.
Really? Like Aaron Gordon wasn't better?
I mean, Aaron Gordon
I thought
played...
you meant Andre Drummond.
Oh, stop it.
Or Tristan Thompson.
Aaron Gordon, he played probably his best playoff game of his career yesterday. He was absolutely amazing. And Anthony Davis, I will admit this, he did not play well enough yesterday. Obviously, for the first three quarters, he was terrible. In the fourth quarter, he played well, but if he would have played better in the first three quarters, the Lakers might have had a bigger lead. So I will give Anthony Davis that he didn't show up in the first three quarters yesterday, but I'm still not discrediting his entire career. He is still a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I am still better than all of you if you don't agree with me. Because that's just an objective fact. You stop it.
I don't know, man. We're going on a half a decade where he's played half the games.
He had a couple seasons.
I think you brought up a great point, Neal, before the show. As far as, and I think I corrected you, and I think this is what makes sort of sense. Entering this series, right, Anthony Davis had all the right to be on the court with the Joker, Nikola Jokic. After this series, if this was Premier League, you'd be relegated. You don't even deserve. I think that the stretch between it. Now, to your point, Sam, yes, the Denver Nuggets as a team absolutely got it done. It's like Neal says all along. Murray's got to be the Robin to joke, and he's played. To me, he's played more consistent. But they're definitely Denver's playing as a team. It's It's going to be interesting and exciting, this final.
Detroit Dabber 313. He was on the bench for a lot of the fourth quarter, and that's why he wasn't bad in the fourth. Chuck Brewer says Hall of Famers show up in big moments, and he did not. Anthony Davis did not, and that is safe to say. Spenny, we're able to play that, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to grab it real fast.
Okay, cool. Because we obtained exclusive footage of Anthony Davis. What's Crypto.com Center? Is that what it is?
Crypto.com Arena, yeah.
Crypto.com Arena, that's what it is these days. Spenmo's getting it loaded right now, but we got exclusive footage of Anthony Davis leaving Crypto.com Arena yesterday. We'll have that for you in just a second. But, Denver Blair, Ben Wallace, greater than Anthony Davis.
Well, that's just patently false. Anthony Davis is a much better all-time player than Ben Wallace. And Anthony Davis contributed way more to his championship team than Ben Wallace did to his.
Ooh.
Those are just facts. Come on now.
Nah.
Shaq scored
patently
27,
false.
11, and 63% shooting, all dwarfing his regular season numbers that year. And people act like Ben Wallace and his 10 points a game and 14 rebounds a game actually held Shaq down. That's false. Anthony Davis was phenomenal in that playoff run. 28, 10, and 4 on 57% shooting and 38% from 3. Those are facts. I know you guys all want to whitewash that from history, but that did happen. Anthony Davis is every bit the champion that Ben Wallace is. They both have one. That's factual.
We got a plethora of bozos in the chat, so we're going to give it out early today.
Yeah, Jack Harrington says, Sam, you're a bozo. So there's that out there as well. And it was fun. It was fun. Robert Closia says, Neal, according to Bill Platsky of the LA Times, it is street clothes Davis, so let's be official around here. I am more partial to half man, half a series. Because that's
half
what you
a
got.
Series, half a season.
Because in 2 of the 4 games, he was 10 for 30. You're into numbers. You're into stats. He was a no-show half the time.
And you notice,
no-show Jones.
And you notice when you brought up that stat, I kind of had to submit because that is bad. And I didn't even know that off the top of my head, but you're absolutely right. In Game 2, he was 4 for 15. In Game 4, he was 6 for 15. In this playoff run, I will give you that on even numbers games, his stats are mid, and in odd numbers games, they're phenomenal. Now, I get that.
And look, I have to give it up to Spencer Raxter here for compiling this footage. We have exclusive footage of Data Davis leaving the Crypto.com Arena. Roll that for the people, Spenny. This wasn't obtained in a lot of places. There he is.
Wow.
On brand for Data Davis, walking out of Crypto.com Arena, invisible as he was during much of the game, much of the series. And Twitter, D-Mac, Twitter was as great. Look, Twitter takes its beatings, and rightfully so, but Twitter was in fine fashion last night on Data Davis.
Half man, half season, half series, I think we can all agree is the cup isn't half full. It's half empty. This is like negative, like the downfall to whatever. That is so apropos. What does this mean? Is this more the consistency? And I know Sam will go back to the stats and he's got a championship and things like that.
But there's no footage of any other people walking out of the arena like that.
No, LeBron actually owned up to it. Talked about maybe he's got to consider retirement or something like that. Is that what we saw there though? Was it like the Lakers? Was it old? Did we see old?
I mean, he's 38. Dude.
No,
I
understand.
Jordan looked like he was playing in a rec league at 38. Like, just he wasn't Jordan. You know, he shot, I think, 19% from 3 his last.
Yes,
it was like 22% his last 4 years that he played in the league. Like, what LeBron is doing is still incredible. To put up 40, he's just got no help. He's got help every other game, half man, half a series, but that's it. A 4 out of 7, there's 7 games. So you can't only play half of them and win.
I mean, LeBron James, his another elimination game masterpiece was wasted. I'll give you that. Anthony Davis wasn't good enough. Rui Hachimura had his first bad game of the series, even though he's been good. D'Angelo Russell has shot 13% from 3 in this series, even though in the regular season with the Lakers he shot 41%. Any LeBron slander is not tolerated. What he is doing in year 20 at age 38, no player in the history of the NBA can even approach that. Do you want to see what Kobe and MJ were doing in year 20? Kobe, and then in 38,
Jordan was falling all over himself at 38.
Absolutely, and so is Kobe, by the way.
Where are we at with Bronny? When's he coming in?
He's
right?
going to college. I would imagine
He's going to USC.
Yeah, he's going to USC. I imagine he probably will be a one and done. We'll see.
So, and you see in the chat thread, so the timeline's 2 more years. Is that because are we all in agreement that that's the only thing LeBron's holding out for is to play with his kid?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so at this point, right?
Bryce is better than Brownie, anyways.
But is that self-awareness? Do you find? I think when it comes down to the end of careers, right? And we just went through this with another GOAT and Tom Brady. Like we always said, like the self-awareness, right? Looking in the mirror. Did this series at the end of the way that this playoffs ended without the help? What we're hearing there about LeBron saying, yeah, you know what, I'm going to contemplate.
Yeah.
Is that just him understanding? Do you think LeBron's self-aware?
But D-Mac, I think just the whole thing going to L.A. as a whole, like it was always going to end like this, right? It's a lot like Miguel Cabrera. It was always going to end like this for LeBron, but the business interests and the business pursuits and the production company and the Hollywood and all that stuff. I think that he knew this because he seemed accepting of it, right? Like he's aware of what's going on. I don't think he's lying to himself. But again, he's 38. Look at, and somebody in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread had it.
Like
nothing.
Right? Like he's got all the gold. And
he's
stuff,
been there.
so
he's done it.
Why
he's done it all.
So the last thing would be to watch is he wants to play with his kid.
Right. And like Jibby77 says, Miggy should have retired last year, in my opinion. No, he goes out when he wants to go out.
And he's not putting away $40 million. Like.
Yeah. Like, okay, give me the money and I'll retire. You know what I'm saying? But you're not going to do that if you're the Tigers. That's a bad business move. Because either way, you got to give the money. You may as well get the little retirement tour, and you'll pop a couple of crowds on a couple Miggy giveaway nights. Like that's bad business to do that.
Absolutely.
So it is just that. My Florida Panthers did it again to Carolina yesterday.
I brought this up. Obviously winning last night 1-0. Sergei Bobrovsky. What do I always say? One of the golden rules in the playoffs is goaltending, and Bobrovsky with his first shutout of his playoff career in like 58 starts. But this series, Neal, and I said to you, the Carolina, Florida, you're down 3-0, but it could be either way. I mean, goals are so tight. I think Carolina has one even strength goal. Like these games are just destined to be 1-goal games. You brought up a good point when it comes down to the clutch. Is it more of Carolina not having the firepower because they're missing their top 2 guys, it's Svechnikov, Max Pacioretty, but looking like, they don't think they can get it done?
I'm wondering that.
And I said to you, you know what it's more? It's more of Florida's confidence that you won't get it done. What I see of Florida now as far as shutdown, and it starts off in net, right, is the fact that they have the ability to shut down. If you watch the end of the game where Carolina had pulled their goalie for 2 minutes, most of the action of the play was pressed by Florida, and they didn't get an empty netter, but there was never a doubt. No fire drill in your own end or anything like that.
They closed down the club. That's how I like to say that. Yeah.
And you got to remember, they won the President's Trophy last year, and now they added like that ingredient, Matthew Tkachuk, which stirs the pot. And one thing to watch for, right? Because the keys are puck luck, which, Florida's got a couple overtime goals. Yesterday 1-0 win. They're getting the goaltending. Now it's injuries, right? They lost their center, one of the best 200-foot forwards in the league, and Sasha Barkov. I presume they said it was a shoulder, so that's got to be a knee, right? If they say upper body, it's got to be lower body. But I think it was more of a precaution that having the fact that you were up 2-0 to keep him out and rest him and to be able to win that game, that's even huge. So if it's anything serious, don't expect him to be in. But if not, he'll be back in. But Florida's cooking right now, and now we'll watch tonight, Dallas and Vegas. That'd be a heck of a that's what I want. I want to see Florida-Vegas final just to see a brand new Stanley Cup city.
Yeah, and for me, it's like you said, at the end of the day, these games are so tight. It comes down to puck luck, and it comes down to the one guy. And Florida's had the puck luck, and they got the best player.
They got the best player, and that's what it might be for Carolina.
Yeah.
And we had the conversation yesterday. I noticed around town, I don't know, it's weird. I wonder where they got the subject matter from to talk around town. There was a lot of discussion about the Red Wings and making a trade, and do they have the ability to make a big trade and all that kind of stuff. Really weird.
Yeah.
You really started hearing that.
You guys are all talking about whatever. Stevie's going to do yes, this is the year. He's got everything. You've told me that. Everything as far as draft capital and everything else, money, this and that. He's got a plan. That's why it's hashtag Wiser Plan.
And second hour of the show, D-Mac, you're gonna take center stage, and we're gonna get into it.
Flannel said about Osgood yesterday, D-Mac. Flannel said Anthony.
I can't hear you.
Flannel said Anthony Davis is more deserving of Hall of Fame than Chris Osgood yesterday.
Yeah, well, you know what? He's a basketball slap, and you know what? Everybody's got like that. But I will defend to see. I know you're trying to stir it up, and I'll go full heel and I'll smash that booth down. But I will give him his props where he said they're both Hall of Famers. We can agree with that.
Yeah.
So the fact who is a more deserving Hall of Famer, Chris Osgood. And I'll just go for the fact, not the championships, not the wins and all that stuff, but he never missed the playoffs.
Yeah, with playing with the Islanders and the Blues.
We can talk about this later because I know we got to get to break and we got to talk other stuff, right? But tell me a Hall of Fame goaltender that didn't play with Hall of Fame players or have a great team in front of them.
Yeah.
Name me one that made it to the Hall of Fame that played on a sucky team. Like, that's the argument against Chris Osgood. He played on too good of a team. No, you're seeing it in the playoffs now. It doesn't matter how good your team is. You got to operate as a team. And you need goaltending, and it's just important. So we can agree that they're both Hall of Fame.
I'll tell you, if Carey Price gets in, I'm knocking on Bettman's door. Oh, man. That would just be...
We just want to talk.
Yeah, I just want to talk. I just want to talk to you.
And I want to talk to you about Strawberry Fest at Big Boy. I just want to talk because it's back at Big Boy. Breakfast. It all starts with breakfast, right? The cornerstone of your day. You can do breakfast and do the Strawberry Fest at the same damn time. Think about that, people. Strawberry hot cakes, yeah, or the mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Not a breakfast person? That's cool. I'm not. But I am a strawberry bacon chicken wrap person. Confirmed. Had it before. It slaps. Want the lighter fare? The summer splash salad is an option also. And dessert. That's what started all this. The OG of the game, the strawberry pie. That's how Strawberry Fest started. Now, they put some other stuff out there that D-Mac approves of, the deep-fried vanilla Oreos, and then you could top it all off with the strawberry hot fudge cake. It's Strawberry Fest, everybody. It's summertime. You know what to do. Get to your local Big Boy today for Strawberry Fest.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome. We're off and running here. Big D Energy. The band is back together. Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter. You know what it is. And all of you in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Remember, subscribe to the Big D Energy podcast as well. iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, wherever you get them their podcast. Hook it up there. Spenmo, what should they do after they subscribe?
5-star.
Rated a 5-star if you would be so kind to do that as well. And Jibby77, WoodwardSports.com chat thread, say, yeah, I get it, Miggy stealing money. And Jibby, here's the thing with all these contracts too, and I'm glad that I can take these couple moments. Big win for the Tigers yesterday. Mm-hmm. Their starter was a gas can. They still got the job done.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're 2.5 back.
Who got it done? Gotta give him props. Give the guy props.
Who's that? Javi?
Yeah. Came through.
Yep. Got a hit. Made contact.
You gotta give him props.
Hey.
You have to call it like the only way you could dog his ass when he swings that is to go, you know what? I see you when you're earning that money. Right? And can we not agree that this year, absolutely more than last year, whatever, so far, there's a different attitude, and you can go back to maybe it's something from AJ Hinch early in the season, because it's definitely let's not be aloof to the fact that since that incident where he pulled Javi and stuff, this team is playing like a team for each other, and he's a big part of it. Now, does he got to quit swinging at those things still? Yes. But when he does it right and comes through, come on, we got to give him props, or else we're just going to be another Sam Flannel legend killer.
Just out here legend killing everybody.
Just it. That's
it was a big hit and a big moment.
Congrats, Javi. Let's see you do it back to back. But yeah, 2.5 back. I mean, like I said, I told you last week, they hooked me right in and they got me right out. Yeah, they're a gas can, but they found a way to do it, man. Starting to get more and more excited as we get deeper into almost into June.
And how about this? Spencer Torkelson had 4 walks. The on-base percentage now over 300 at 301.
You know what? I'm not even going to poo-poo that. 4 walks in a game, that's like baseball porn to me.
Did you watch any of it?
Back to the Barry Bonds days.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of it, Sam Flannel?
I watched bits and pieces.
The Kansas City Royals are the 2003 Tigers.
Yeah, they
think
suck.
Like, they got pitchers out there, dude. They cannot throw a strike to save their life. It was laughable how bad they are.
And what about Riley Green? Isn't he scorching the ball? What is he batting average? One of the
286?
Mm-hmm. No, but it's 390 over the past month or whatever like that. So, I mean, like, there's reason to get excited.
Oh, no, and that's fair, D-Mac. Like, because you can only go by what it is. And their division is one of the worst divisions of all time, and it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter.
Do you really give a shit? They're like,
no,
who
they're
cares?
in there.
Play for
yeah, they're in there.
Like, god dang, who cares? This is what you were dealt. We always say, man, deal with what's in front of you. They're dealing with what's in front of them, and it's a hell of a lot better than I thought it would. So, stoked, not scared for Tigers.
Yeah, but you know what's funny about it, D-Mac? Like, if you really want to boil it down, they're the worst hitting team in the majors. Their starting pitchers' ERA are in the stratosphere, but the bullpen
and maybe
has
that's
been
the
pieced
thing.
together,
I don't want
and
to
it's
boil
good.
it down. Maybe that's the whole thing is I don't give a shit to boil it down because you know what? I've been boiling it down for so long that I'm just going to enjoy the fact that I look at my phone and I get an alert that the base is loaded and they come back and Javi Baez, right? Let's go.
Yeah.
So so all those facts, yeah.
But
that's what I expected. You're
together.
not telling me something at the beginning of the year I didn't expect.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we were thinking would be dark. But the bullpen, yeah. So there's something brewing down there. Right? Doesn't mean crap. I don't expect us to win the division or whatever, but I'm going to have fun paying attention. Like you asked Sam Flannel. How about you guys out there? Did anybody else throw it on? Throw the game on the radio or throw it on the TV more on the pass-through? Right? Oh, let me check that out. Or maybe on your phone, because I sure should have.
I know we're not supposed to do this, like attack, fellow media brethren, but dude, Shepard sucks. It is bad. Like I can't fucking do it with Shepard, man. It sounds like he's calling golf or ping pong and a deep fly ball there to center field and it's gone. It's like, oh my god, dude, it is unbearable at times.
How about this, D-Mac? Tyler Holton, arguably their best bullpen arm. Scott Harris got off the scrap heap. And that just goes to show you a GM makes a good move. Look at the impact a good move can have.
One
You're
good
saying move.
It starts with one. Right?
One thing. And I don't know why.
So
it doesn't even matter how hard you try.
And it shows you, too, how isn't the clarity of how bad it was that you couldn't get one move in how many years to the fact that you make one and who is that one move. I think he's made a few good moves because there's guys in this lineup that he's acquired and that are producing. You mentioned the bullpen. Put together that bullpen. I think, you know what the big thing is, Neal, and I will stress this. I think it's the coaching. And it's beyond AJ Hinch. It's the pitching coach, Fetter, and it's the hitting coach, and it's because it's the approach. Sam just mentioned baseball porn. Spencer Torkelson, 4 walks, right? Which means the guys, whatever I hear them preaching about attacking early and then taking it into account, they're listening. And then, yes, it might be Kansas City, but who cares?
No, you got to play who's in front of you, man.
Who cares?
How about this, too? So we talked about, Scott Harris getting arguably one of their best relievers off the scrap heap. By the way, the trade, right? Nick Maton, as you guys laugh at it, and he's hitting 165, leads the team in home runs. He does. It's different. It's different when you're hitting one. You can be hitting 220 and it's not impactful. Maton's hitting 165 and leads the team in home runs. And Matt Bierling, by the way, second in home runs. Your very first trade, Scott Harris walking in the door. And look, is the division bad? Yes, it is. But you know what? They're 2.5 back, and no one asks you how. So that's what it is. And all of a sudden, the Twins can't win a game. I'm not apologizing for it. And look, was I critical of this team when they were 2-9? Yes, I was. Do I need Javi Baez's on-base percentage to be in the threes? We got Torque in the threes. Do we need Javi in the threes? Yes. If you're going to do something at some point, yes, it has to get there. But you know what? I'm not apologizing for it. When you're starved and someone throws you a cracker, it's the best cracker you ever ate.
Amen.
And that's where it is right now. And Scott Harris, guess what, guys? I just gave you 2 moves. That and look, is it sustainable?
That right away, boom.
Yeah.
It's like
we're in May, and I gave you 2 moves he made, and guess what they're doing? You know, like producing. It's really wild.
contributing.
And not even at an elite level.
Just contributing at a level enough to keep you 2.5 games out.
Right, 100%, man. Jibby77 says, yeah, I get it. Miggy stealing dollars. And Jibby, real quick, and this was the original point of it. I didn't know we were going to get a segment in on the Tigers, but lo and behold, we did. I would argue that ownership stole money in that scenario. Because here's the deal, guys, that no one ever talks about. You know why these contracts are so long? Like Miggy, because Miggy was a $60 million a year guy by the market. When you're winning MVPs and you're winning Triple Crowns, but teams aren't going to do that. Why, Sam Flannel? Because they don't want to pay the luxury tax.
Right.
So they stretch these contracts out. It's like void years in football. That's what they do, guys. That's the dirty little secret. This contract should have been over 4 years ago, but the money should have been the same. This is the end result of it. So Miggy can stay as long as he wants and do whatever he wants. I don't care because, again, he's the only guy on this roster that was a great. So, and I'm not saying, hey, he's still a great. No, I'm not saying that. But he's earned that. So this is a Miggy slander-free zone, and it always will be. Always. So, and I'll tell you this, D-Mac, if there was a bases-loaded situation in the 9th with 2 out, I would want Miggy up there hitting.
Wouldn't you want or
100%.
The option of him being on the bench to pinch hit him? Still Miguel Cabrera. I mean, it could be Roy Hobbs, right? The natural.
Yeah.
He's got one last swing in him. I mean, who knows? Is anybody out going to bet against Miguel Cabrera's last hit's a home run in his career? I wouldn't. Just the way that it sort of works. So just to have the option. And you know, here's what the other thing is, right? Baseball is such a cerebral game. Just to have the other manager think that he might have to put a pitcher in for Miguel Cabrera. Maybe use him as a bluff. Who knows? But just the fact to have Miguel Cabrera and his stats on your bench is better off. And plus, like you said, Neal, you got to pay him anyways.
Rusty Shackelford says Grandpa Joe is a Lakers fan as well. And Jeb Large says, I've hated the Twins since Kirby Puckett, so that's all right. And Jeb, I've always hated the Twins. That stupid Metrodome with the stupid plexiglass fence and how they chopped the ball into the turf and it'd hop way up in the air. And then by the time it came down, everybody was safe. I've hated the Twins. They are up there, man. It's probably one of my more hated franchises.
You just hate everything Minnesota.
Yeah, it's that stupid stadium, man. And with the Vikings, that stupid horn.
Yeah.
But you remember that, though? They would, like, chop the ball into the ground and it'd shoot way up and everybody would be safe because everybody's fast and hits 180 on that team. God, I hate the Twins, dude.
I like Joe Mauer.
God, he murdered the Tigers, too. He had like 480 or something against the Tigers for his career. I hated that dude, too. I do not hate Swiss Insurance, though. It's the opposite.
Absolutely not. And how could you hate Swiss Insurance? Like our draft picks, did the GM do his job? Be a boss and take control of your insurance options. Draft a company that will give you the most cost-effective plan and protect you like the best O-line in the league. Email Swiss Insurance today, mark@swissins.com, or you could just visit their website, swissins.com.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry. Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Jumpin' Puck. Saturdays, 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, Darren, McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter. You know the squad. We are back in effect. Happy to have you with us on the WoodwardSports.com chat thread as well. Mike G says Grandpa Joe drank fizzy lifting drink and touched the ceiling of the Metrodome. Just saying. Yeah, but instead of like contaminating it, he made it better.
Yeah.
Because that place sucked. Just like Grandpa Joe sucks.
Grandpa Joe does suck. True fact. He's the most suck-worthy, right? He's
Yes.
the most despicable human.
No
He's
doubt.
up there.
He's up there. DNCENT says, what about the Timberwolves? They've never bothered me. I actually have a Timberwolves throwback, like the Timberwolf dog with the howling at the moon or whatever.
Yeah,
Mitchell
and
Ness
you know
one.
what? It was Timberwolves from back in the day with Garnett, coming out young and stuff like that. It was always sort of like the underdog.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things that you're never threatened by,
Correct.
right?
And that's what it
you can
is.
cheer
Yeah.
by what you're not threatened by.
Yeah, that's true. So, I hated the Twins. We'll always hate the Twins and hate the Vikings too. But the Timberwolves, So, that's what it is. I did want to touch on this, by the way. And I'll put you on the spot here because I did want to get to the Colin Cowherd stuff. Mm-hmm. Because it's interesting. And just the numbers not moving. And every day that goes by, and the more of this I see, and is it PTSD? It probably is. Who was it on the Colin Cowherd show that was talking about this?
Vic Taffer.
Vic Taffer.
Yeah, he's the writer for the Las Vegas Raiders for The Athletic.
Okay. Vic Tafford was on the Colin Cowherd show. And we've discussed, right, the Lions. Division title / playoff win or bust, right? Like, that's where we're at. So that would entail a minimum of 10 wins. We can pretty much agree on that, right?
Absolutely.
So Vic Tafford was on the Colin Cowherd show. Listen to what he had to say about the Detroit Lions and the 9.5 season win total.
I just think that it has to be a little bit of a regression this year. I mean, I don't know if Jared Goff can have that kind of year again. I didn't love their draft. I thought running back that high was kind of a bad move. They also got a linebacker, a run-stopping linebacker. I didn't like their draft. I thought they kind of maybe got a little too cocky a little bit about where they were. So I think it's a tough schedule. I think a small regression's not going to be too surprising.
You said Vegas, right?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. He has no idea. He doesn't have a grasp of our team. He's spitting that from out there. That sounds like somebody commenting on the team that I don't know. We're here. We see what it is. Does that sound like a guy that's got his finger on the pulse of what's going on around here?
It's not that.
What? It's like, what are you scared? That doesn't scare me at all. And the fact
No, it doesn't.
9.5, dude, you said this. To be successful, the clock's gone. Playoff team minimum. That's 10 wins, correct?
Yes.
Right? Division championships, 11 or 12.
Okay.
Right? So I don't care what Rick, Stick, Prick, whoever the hell says to whatever, my firm belief is what they're doing in Allen Park. And there's wins to be had. So, yeah, the Jared got, what the heck? What, he's listening to Spencer last year or something like that? God, why does it always go to God? And I don't like the draft, the running back. And what? I don't care what you like. My guys like it. That's all that matters. That's what it is. Don't get scared now, Neal.
Mike G says, Neal, is your Grandpa Joe t-shirt a long night shirt? That'd be dope. Yeah, and I'd lay in bed for 20 years, as a matter of fact. D-Mac, in a previous life, you were well vested in the gambling circles, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Absolutely.
In a previous life.
Yeah.
I want you to channel and go back to that. What's the old adage about gambling? If it seems too good to be true,
right,
it probably is.
So
why isn't this 9.5 moving? Why? because 10 is the floor, right? Like even the Lions haters.
So you're gonna get locked up in that.
It's
so,
not
so
Vic.
which the
It's
numbers,
the
this
gambling.
Vegas, this, are you gonna get locked up in that and use that as the more of the argument?
Yes.
Right, than
That's
the
what-
eyeballs.
that's-
So
yeah.
you're going to use that more. So okay, then you should be worried about that. I'm not. I'm going strictly from what I hear out of my camp, from my guys, from the players, from the coaches, from what we're preparing to do. And the division and all this stuff and what we're going to go. I could care less. Right? But you nailed it too. I'm not a betting guy. Now, to your point, back in the day, yes, the fact that the line wouldn't be moving would make me question. But I got to believe that at some point it's going to move up to 10.
You would
I don't think people
right?
are buying it. I don't think people buy this. Maybe they are. Maybe people are scared. But I don't think it's the time to be scared. I'm not.
What, Spenny? You're in those circles.
Mm-hmm.
Have you taken? Have you placed a wager on over 9.5?
I have not, but I'll definitely take the over.
That doesn't concern you that it hasn't moved. Like, it doesn't seem too good to be true.
No.
Really? Why?
Because I think they have baked in at least 5 wins in the division. And I think they can get 5 more on their road schedule. Or
No, I'm saying
outside
like the
schedule.
the line itself.
No, doesn't matter to me. They had them at 7.5 last year. They went over that by a couple games. It's doesn't worry me at all. I think with what they've done, what pissed me off about this interview is he was like, "Oh, I didn't like their draft," but he didn't talk about how they entirely revamped the secondary. He didn't talk about adding David Montgomery, which is a huge upgrade from Jamal Williams. Like, he's just like, "Oh, I don't like them taking a linebacker and a running back." Well, guess who did? Brad Holmes. And if you were better at identifying talent than Brad Holmes, you'd have a job as a GM, not a writer.
Right, and you wouldn't be sitting there in your living room waiting for the cast of Goodfellas, a remake, to give you a call to have you be in the movie. That has no impact on it. But Flannel, am I justified? Do you see where I'm coming from? At least this seems too easy. This seems too good to be true.
I can't really think in those terms, though, because the Lions, I expect them to obviously win 10 games. The one thing that I will say, though, is that the Lions, they obviously have, I would say, a lighter home schedule. But they've got some games on the road that are going to be tough. All the divisional games, I think, are going to be tough. At Kansas City, at Los Angeles, at the Cowboys. So they have some tough games. The draft, I get what Spenny's saying. He doesn't take into account at all that Brad Holmes completely revamped the secondary through free agency and got a guy like David Montgomery and Graham Glasnow. But at the same time, a running back at 12, although they were compensated for it, and a linebacker at 18, I don't want to bring back positional value, and I don't necessarily agree, but I can see where somebody who is a casual when it comes to the Lions can give that take. Do I think it's a good take? Absolutely not. Can I see why a casual would give it? I suppose.
What about me though? And in the gambling circles, Sam Flannel, they don't have those buildings, and they don't have all the shareholders they have because they're giving away free money. That's it.
I mean, at the end of the day, the over would still mean you get 10 wins. I know that 9.5, you'd like for it to move up a little bit, but you still, if they win 10 games, they probably win the division, and then you get the over by a half a game. I'm not super concerned about that. And even if they hit the slight under, they might still get the wild card, which would be disappointing. I just think if it were 7.5 or 8.5, I would be concerned. 9.5, I think that's even. If you win 11 games, you hit the over by a game and a half. It's not like you smash it and shatter it. I think you have a lot of PTSD. You're more of a hardened Lion fan than, say, me and Spenny.
Burns says he's a bozo, so there's that one out there as well. Mike G's having a run right now. Parker Harbaugh in the background of Sam Flannel.
Go blue.
We're going to talk about that in the next segment, as a matter of fact. Parker Harbaugh.
Shouldn't he be in that booth?
He probably should be.
I mean, they're getting along. Look.
Yeah.
See, it's possible.
It is possible.
Me and Flannel get along, too.
Yeah.
Outside of that, yes.
Yeah.
And Flannel and I get along.
Yeah.
Outside of half man, half a season.
That's fair.
And again, over the last half a decade, he has been half man, half a season. In this playoffs, he was half man, half a series.
D-Mac and I get along.
Yeah, absolutely you do. What was I going to bring up? Oh, yeah, the Parker Harbaugh thing. I was listening to Dan Wetzel's podcast. Dan Wetzel, great dude.
Yeah,
Love
absolutely.
that dude. They do a college football podcast I listen to from time to time. They were bringing up the fact, Sam Flannel, that we're in the spring sports championship season now. Men's tennis, where Michigan was in the NCAA tournament and lost to TCU, and the women's tennis team was in the tournament and lost to Georgia. They were going through all the conferences that won championships. Guess who was the least amount of championships in the Power 5 conferences?
Would it be the Big Ten?
It was. It was,
Interesting.
as a matter of fact.
Yeah. They've had a tendency to not win the big one. I mean, we see it in football, we see it in basketball, baseball, hockey. A lot of those teams have just been Big Ten great. And it sucks to say, but it's true.
Matthew Larson says, I'm from the D, living in Minnesota, and I hate everything about Minnesota. Trust and believe about the Tigers. Where was Minnesota for you, D-Mac?
Minnesota. More Twins hatred because of the Tigers' love. Really never because
I like the North Stars, truth be told.
I like the Unis.
Yeah, the Unis were dope.
I mean, indifferent. Indifferent to
that's fair.
Minnesota sports.
Yeah, I have fire of 1,000 suns hatred for the Twins and just a shade under that for the Vikings.
Okay.
But the rest of them, Timberwolves, I'm indifferent. I like the North Stars. The Minnesota Wild are just, they're non-existent to me. I probably couldn't name a player on their team right now.
I hate the Timberwolves now. I like
Marcus
the Timberwolves
Flannel.
with KG, but now they don't like Cat, hate Rudy Gobert.
But you love Anthony
Hate
Edwards.
Kyle Anderson, but I love Anthony Edwards. And they had Patrick Beverly for a little bit, so.
You're conflicted.
Yeah.
Can we, speaking of
You're
the Michigan.
conflicted. How many times we say that about Spanish?
Yeah. I have a question for
That's
everybody.
the other thigh tattoo.
Yeah,
Conflicted.
And D-Mac, I'm gonna invite you to moderate this
Ooh,
because
all right.
I want to have a discussion, and it stems from something that I brought up on the show yesterday. We will parachute you in on that one, D-Mac. You were checking out the show to some degree. I had some thoughts about the Shemi Schembechler stuff.
Oh.
And our social team, and there was D-Mac yesterday.
I just wanted everybody to know why Sam Flannel's slander cannot touch me down there. Find your happy place. There's mine.
Flannel, can we have a discussion? Like a well-reasoned, civil discussion.
I thought we had one yesterday, so we can have one again.
Okay. And because I have some questions about you and your fan base. Parker Harbaugh can get involved if he so chooses. He's got the polo on. But we're live at the Planet Fitness Studios here at Woodward Sports. And you know the drill. Planet Fitness, $10 a month, access to your home club, the most affordable gym in the gym game today. You guys know the one here on Maple Road. That's my home base, but I do float around the Metro Detroit area. And with my Planet Fitness Black Card, I can do that because there's over 50 Metro Detroit locations, and I can go to any one of them that I so choose depending on where I am, because Planet Fitness is dope like that, everybody. Again, the best gym in the gym game. Tons of cardio equipment, tons of weights. You're never waiting for anything, even when an idiot like me is on the treadmill for an hour running for some stupid reason. Even then, there's hundreds of other treadmills that you can choose from at Planet Fitness. Black Card option, $24.99 a month. You basically own Planet Fitness. Come and go as you choose. Use all the amenities. And don't forget, too, the high school summer pass that they do. And this is a pretty neat little program they have. High schoolers ages 14 to 19 in the U.S. and Canada can work out for free all summer long from May 15th to August 31st. Planet Fitness just doing their little part. No school. All the activity, stuff like that for the kids, those go away as well. Planet Fitness doing their part, and that is very, very cool. Go to planetfitness.com if you want to join, or pull in the parking lot. You'll pass more than 50 of them in the Metro Detroit area as you drive home. It's Planet Fitness. Darren McCarty.
Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. Like that one?
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter here with you. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Coach Richie 22 says, we talked Tigers yet? I mean, Torch took 3 walks last night. Is that him turning a quarter? Here's a good idea for you, Coach Richie. Subscribe to the Big D Energy podcast. Goes right to your phone. You can rewind, fast forward, all that stuff. We did touch on the Tigers. It kind of popped up out of nowhere. And we did discuss Torch with his walks and his on-base percentage now
Sam
at 301.
Flannel even called it baseball porn for walks back in the day. More like the Barry Bonds stuff. So it was more like 90s porn.
There were lots of little mustaches.
More granular.
Yeah, a little more granular.
Not as linear.
Okay. I want to have this discussion. And yesterday, I talked about the Shemmy Schembechler stuff, and D-Mac will lean on you as the Minister of Accountability,
I'm here.
Canadian citizen as well.
Remember, Canadians, we are just like the Swiss, but we punch back.
That's the one difference. That's the one noted difference. I will ask you to lord over this.
I will.
And step in when you see fit.
I get to be Neal.
Because I already know how this is going to go.
Okay.
People are going to want to take it to a place it's not intended to go to. So, D-Mac, I encourage you to get involved as you see fit. So yesterday, we talked about Shemmy Schembechler, and I asked the question, what is it about you guys and Bo Schembechler where you got to, bring his son back? And with Bo, pretty much a noted scumbag. I think that's fair to say. Even Sam Flannel signs off on that one, Michigan Slappy.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, you sign off on it.
Yep.
I don't want to speak out of school. So our social team here, who I believe is the very best in this city in sports media, that's fact, not opinion. Look at the numbers.
It's actual.
Yeah, it's actual. Just look at the numbers. Our social team made a clip of that and put it out on the social media sphere. There was an Instagram reel and everything like that. Follow Woodward Sports on social media, by the way, like tens of thousands of other people do. So, it's a clip of me talking about what is it with Michigan fans and Bo Schembechler, the love affair. And the comments went exactly how you think they would go. And this one individual stuck out to me from Jack_R056. Says, it pisses me off how much these guys meat ride Michigan State and hate on Michigan. Flannel, here's the question for you. Why are you guys pre-pro? I never mentioned Michigan State the whole show.
No,
I never talk about Michigan State.
No, you didn't.
Because Michigan State didn't even go to a bowl game last year. They are not relevant to discuss at this time.
No, they are not, and that fact makes me happier than anything. Just for the record, and Spenny, you would agree that Michigan not going to the tournament makes you very happy as well.
And that's it's a rivalry. You're supposed to feel like that.
Yes.
You're supposed to feel like that. I don't have a problem with that. But why? Why is that one of the more liked comments? When have I ever, and D-Mac, I'll ask you, Minister of Accountability, when have I ever, quote, meat road Michigan State?
No, I don't understand it. And you're right. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if you make the comment or anything else. Whenever there's anything in a disparaging or it's viewed as disparaging, and it's always, what do Michigan fans do? Bring up Michigan State. And it goes the other way, too. A lot of the time. Not all the time. But what are we talking about here? Right? What are we talking about? Because here's the one thing that I find, Darren McCarty's personal appearance, being Canadian, growing up around here, being a fan of everything, right, is nobody likes to look in the mirror. Right?
Bingo.
Nobody likes the reflection of what the truth really is. And you know what? They want to slam it on somebody else instead of taking responsibility. My question with, everything you say about Schembechler and all this stuff, my first question is, what is Shemmy Schembechler qualified to be hired for? Is he a football, tell me this, right? Or are you just bringing the name back? Because then if you're bringing the name back and Sam represents Michigan fans that think Bo He's a scumbag and did all that stuff. Why are you keeping the name in relevance to? I don't understand. It goes to the mentality of what I don't understand coming out of Michigan, being the leaders and the best. Now, absolutely, you should. And Michigan, like the way that it is, and the perception is they hold to a higher standard, but they don't act to a higher standard, right? And here, to be the honest truth, it varies. Because we could be talking about a Michigan State fan, too. This goes back and forth to the individuals more than it does on the whole. But on the whole, more or less, both programs don't like to look themselves in the face. But if I was going to say, Michigan State's more self-aware than what Michigan is.
So, Sam Flannel, I'll ask you this question. Is it Taylor Swift dropping bars where I'll stare directly in the sun but never in the mirror? Is it that simple?
This is complicated because, as we talked about yesterday, Michigan just committed an act of getting in their own way in the most unnecessary way possible. Why in the world would you bring back Shemi Schembechler when there's so much taint surrounding the Schembechler name at this point? That was a weird word to say, but you know what I mean. His name, the Schembechler name is certainly...
Love me a good taint.
Damn it. I shouldn't have... okay, but anywho, there is a bit of a dark cloud under
Taint
the...
fans! All right, that's good.
There's a dark cloud under the Schembechler name right now, and it's getting in the way of the excitement of what should be a very exciting period of Michigan football. I mean, they've got it humming again in a way that they haven't since the late 1990s.
Why are you guys pre-programmed to say that I quote meat ride Michigan State when I never even bring them up?
It's okay. So at least for me. And maybe this, I don't know if a lot of Michigan fans will agree, but I'm kind of a psychopath like that. I hate Michigan State football more than just about any team in the entirety of sports.
And that's fair. I understand that.
Yes.
I support that.
It made me almost as happy that Michigan State fans were suffering as I was happy that Michigan was going to a bowl game, with going to the college football playoff, with all due respect to Spenny.
And I respect that. That's a rivalry. You should be like that.
I guess... the fact that Michigan is getting in their own way in doing this, it opens them up to criticism when they should just keep humming along. And I think at that point, Michigan fans just want to be like, well, look at Michigan State. They didn't even make a bowl game. I'm not saying that's right.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that's... Well, because we just want to keep rubbing it in, I guess. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that we've got our issues. They're not as much on the field. Their issues is on the field. But I would say bring it back a Schembechler. That's a mortal sin right now.
Because I saw it in the threat. He's not there anymore, right?
Who's that?
No, he got fired like 3 days in.
No, he resigned. They allowed him to resign.
So he's not there. So it's really not an issue then. So to whatever else, the self-awareness of what it brought to whatever, this, right? This shouldn't be a story. It should be that he was there, now he's not there. But at no point...
Yeah, but because you allow him to resign, it doesn't mean the story goes away. Like, it's not just that simple. Especially given the grand scope. I mean, going back to, his father's inability to win a big game, all the way through to...
What does it have to do... No, I would think that it's about the name and the black cloud that it brings. Nothing to do with your dad as coaching to whatever else to whatever. So, and the fact that he's not there, then you don't have to worry about it. So maybe there was self-awareness to it. I don't get it. Like the whole thing is his name, Schembechler, right? If there's a black cloud of Schembechler to whatever happened,
or that his first name was
why are you bringing it
Shemmy.
back? Well, whatever. Like what's the deal? That has nothing to do with the wins and losses. We're talking. You're right, Sam. Their issues are on the field. Your issues are off the field.
Yes.
So what does this mean? The fact that he's not there, Neal, means that we're not continuing this going on, saying, oh, why is he there? Why is he there?
Well, even Sam Flannel, though, like we can all agree that it's a stupid move to even do it in the first place, so therefore it becomes a talking point.
Well, at least it shows some self-awareness that it's not done. Because I know that some of us have all done stupid stuff and, you know what, have stopped it before it got out of control. Maybe this is what it is. And maybe perception that finally there is some self-awareness. Because it's not an issue anymore, is it?
Well, they didn't stop it. He resigned.
So what does that mean? I quit. I didn't get fired?
Correct.
So is that it? You beat out the door, whatever it is. So keep looking. What are we trying to find here? They made this.
I just want to know why when we talk about Shemmy Schembechler and the Schembechler name, the auto response is you ride Michigan State's meat. It's got nothing to do with that. I'm asking the question. Like, I'm asking why is it the pre-program?
Question, why was he hired in the first place? What are his qualifications? What was his job?
He worked with the Raiders last. He had some job in some capacity with, I think, a couple of NFL
knows.
teams.
You don't know if you can't tell me. It's not it. So that's what the question is was he qualified for the job? Nothing to do with his dad, but when you bring back the name, when it's already a black cloud, here, let's go hire a Paterno and a Sandusky at Penn State. How's that going to work out?
Alex Merrill says, no, but you bring up Michigan every chance you get just to take a shot. I didn't hire Shemmy Schembechler. Michigan did. Like, why do I get blamed for this?
Well, that's the thing. It was a dumb move because it opened Michigan up to criticism when it otherwise didn't need to be there. I mean, they could hire, Tom, Dick, and Harry off the streets, and it would have been better than hiring a freaking Schembechler, for crying out loud. Michigan should try to distance themselves more from the Schembechler name, but when you bring in his son, it opens Michigan up for criticism, which is unnecessary. Michigan's got it humming. Just focus on your football season, and now the focus is off the football team and on the fact that they hired, and then 3 days later he resigned as Schembechler. Makes no sense.
Yeah, and again, the main question of it, we talked about Shemmy Schembechler yesterday, and yes, he's gone. My question is, why is the auto response Michigan State? Yeah, but Michigan State. Why?
I guess this season, and I'm not saying it's right, when it comes to football, Michigan State is an easy target. They didn't make a bowl game. They fell short of expectations. And when sometimes fans have to look themselves in the mirror and realize their school made a mistake, it's not about taking accountability or holding your school accountable. It's about how can I tear others down.
So you're swinging down, is what you're saying.
More or less.
Yeah.
More or less.
So it makes you feel better then, or like what is it?
I would say so. I'm not saying me. I'm just saying that the person who made that comment.
Okay. That's why I wanted to have the discussion. That's all the discussion was about. Chris says it's the constant bashing of Michigan and their fan base, bringing up tennis when MSU Twitter is celebrating a dodgeball natty. Or that had nothing to do with it.
What?
You guys were celebrating.
Wait, did MSU Twitter do that?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
When all I did was bring it up to where Michigan fans were like, it's time for revenge when they play, and then they lose. Like, that's...
Did anybody actually say it's time for
revenge?
I sent it to them.
Yeah, we put it on the show.
Yeah.
All right, okay. That's not...
You guys do
not
that.
Doing us
Why
any
am I
favors.
the bad guy?
Can we do a Twitter poll, right? Does Neal meat ride Michigan State more or troll Michigan more? Right? Like, I mean, because they feel, do people truly feel that Neal trolls Michigan? And trolling
That's just
brings
the
out
overriding
facts.
message is like, you're a Spartan fan, you meat ride Michigan State, which I do not. What's there to meat ride about?
Basketball team's going to be a wagon.
It's almost like you can't bring up that name when you're talking about anything else. It's like,
and I just want to know why that is. It's a fair question.
It's like what food can you not mix? Like if you have a potato and then what you can't put something else in there else to mix it. I don't know. It's like mention Michigan, or people feel like they have to mention Michigan State when they mention Michigan, or the other way around. Why is that?
William Rhodes says, Neal, is it your first day on the internet? What aboutism is everywhere out there, Neal? You're making a big deal out of trolls. Ignore them. William, trolls I do not care about. I welcome trolls because that means that you're being talked about as being relevant and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you talk to Brandon Katz all the time.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's... I don't understand. I guess what I'm driving at, William, like you coined it, the whataboutism. I don't understand that. I'll never understand that. I don't get it. But, here we are. I just wanted to ask a question. That was it. We'll get back into Lion stuff, everybody. Don't worry. We're definitely going to get back into the Lion stuff. Don't worry. What could be better than watching celebrities like Braylon Edwards, Darren McCarty play golf? How about playing golf yourself and being treated like a celebrity? That's what. Stop into any Randy Wise dealership for your chance to play golf like a celebrity. VIP transportation, free golf to one of Michigan's premier tracks, and a tasty steak after. Compliments of Fairway Packing Company. That's right. Make the wise decision and get to Randy Wise today for your chance to win. It's a Randy Wise Automotive Team Celebrity Golf Tour.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Coming up on the second hour of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, Darren, McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter here with you. Subscribe to the Big D Energy podcast. iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, wherever you get those podcasts, subscribe, and then
5-star.
5-star if you would be so kind as well. And by the way, subscribe to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Raging success, huge subscriber numbers and all that stuff, so jump on board. Don't miss anything regarding Woodward Sports. Woodwardsports.com chat thread. Jack Stark says Neal trolls Sam, and Michigan is just collateral damage. So Michigan's a victim of circumstance.
That's it.
I think that's part of it.
I think that's more poignant.
I think so too. The Booner Sports Show. We should feel honored that Neal trolls Michigan. That means we are winning and doing something right.
I'll give you this, Neal. It's I always say, why are you, and if people see it so hard, is because your expectations of their program is higher than most of the expectations of their fan base.
And D-Mac, that's it. 1,000,000%. And Flannel, I go back to this all the time.
Booner nailed it. That's exactly what it is.
Working in college athletics, you get to see behind the curtain. And what's behind the curtain? Money, right? Television contracts and all that kind of stuff. Everything that goes into it. For what Michigan generates and what they spend, they underachieve. The stadiums, the facilities that they have, all that stuff, they underachieve. You'll never convince me that they don't. Are they up there in the powerhouses and revenue generation with Ohio State and USC and Texas?
I would think just plain Block M merchandise.
Right, merchandise
is
all
ahead
of it.
with the Nike and with all this stuff. Like, you're ahead of the game. Where does that put you on the spectrum? Already ahead. And I think it's just the expectations that you'd want to see them do more or go out and do what the SEC teams, for the most part, have done, what some of the other teams are doing. Hopefully with this Pac-10 merger and this new multimedia deal and stuff like this, that this gives them more money that they will do this and compete at this level. But it's expectations, Neal.
Yeah, and Go Blue 7 says 2 Big Ten championships in a row is underachieving. Were you satisfied with the end of the season last year?
No, not with the end of the season, but let me just piggyback off of something he said. To be fair, Michigan was in the dark ages for many, many years. They lost 14 out of 15 to Ohio State, went about 15 seasons without winning a Big Ten title. So they at least have it back on track to where they are winning Big Ten championships, going to the college football play, beating Ohio State.
But the stakes have changed since then,
Flannel. I get
Flannel.
that. No, I understand that. And last year's loss to TCU, that was the first loss in this 2-year stretch that was just crushing because they had to have that one and they didn't. And this year they got to make up for it.
And to give you a cross comparison, D-Mac, if the Lions win the division and lose the home playoff game, are we going to walk away saying, "Hey man, we got that division title"? We're going to walk away from that?
It'll be progress, but something to build on. But I mean, no, we're not going to be. We're going to look at a missed opportunity because we got there. And it's
that's
always
what,
that way. Unless you win the last game, you should be disappointed.
And that's what it was last year. Because the stakes have changed.
But there's disappointment, but it's also, too, is you can also check mark things that made you successful off your list. It's the pros and cons. It's like birdies and bogeys in golf. Do your birdies offset it so you can shoot under par. That's what you're trying to do, is do more good things than bad.
And Go Blue 7 says, yes, Detroit fans will certainly be pleased with a 1 division. That's no. So let's chat poll that one, shall we? And real quick to wrap that one up.
Absolutely.
What does Neal do more?
You don't think they would? I think absolutely this year.
And they lose a playoff game? They've done that before.
But you can't. You're going to poo-poo winning the division and hosting a playoff game? Or are you going to look at it as a progress or a
No,
step?
because I was told to be stoked, not scared, D-Mac. Like
That is being stoked. Because you got there. You're getting there. And if it happens that way, how does it happen? Have we learned? Well, dude, what if we have the home playoff game and 3 guys break their leg? Are you going to... There's reasons to go to it. You have to put yourself...
What if they're an 8-point favorite and they lose?
Put yourself in that spot. That's where you get... And that's where you have to evaluate. And that's where progress comes in. That's where the fact that...
See, D-Mac, I'll disagree with that. Because what if they're playing the Atlanta Falcons at home and they're an 8-point favorite and they lose?
Well, then
I'll have a problem with that.
No, okay. In that scenario, yes. What if they're playing Atlanta an 8-point favorite at home and half the team gets hurt? There's circumstances. Get yourself in that position, and then let's evaluate after that position. But still, you can't. You're going to poo-poo the fact that you've won the division at 11 or 12 games, and the fact that you've won a division. That's progress. That's playoffs. That's getting there. That's not getting the job done.
That's happened multiple times in my life where they've won the division. One time in my life they've won a playoff game.
Okay, but
Once.
is this regime? Is this Brad Holmes? You're talking about who you talking about? Guys that were not players that were garbage, an organization that was garbage. This is different, so you have to take a different perspective on it. When we get there, and you know what, Neal? I'll give you this. Yes, more than not, it will be disappointing. But I want to get there. First, you have to be willing to fall down to be able to get back up and put yourself in those positions. I'm willing to fail to succeed. And that's what the Detroit Lions. And you know what? We're talking about the Lions in Michigan. And maybe that's the difference between what I see in the Lions and what I see in Michigan, willing to go that extra mile. And we'll see. But we're willing for it. Stoked, not scared to be able to get there. And if that's the path that the Detroit Lions have to take to win the division and lose a home playoff game, well, you know what? It's going to suck. But I'm going to still be here for it because I believe in Brad Holmes. I believe in Dan Campbell.
Which I do too. But I would be disappointed.
And it's a progress because you can't get to look at Cincinnati. Look at the teams that are trying to get this is your window. So hopefully you do it, but it gets you closer. And what have you learned? And then it'll mean more for the next year. But it's progress of what you've
If they
earned.
win a division title and are hosting Atlanta in the playoffs and they're an 8-point favorite and they lose, I'll be pissed. I'll be disappointed.
Okay, good. And you're allowed. You're allowed, but can we get there first? Why you're out down the road playing TCU already again?
But that's the like. Brandon Katz, did Minnesota have a successful season last year?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, that's what it is about the NFL postseason.
Season. That's a Minnesota. What I want you to do, Neal, is compare. Can we just take this organization right now with this regime, the way that it is with this team in its own little bubble? Right? Do you think they care what they did 30 years ago?
No, and I'm not saying that they do.
They don't have no relevance to it.
But I'm saying if you're an 8-point favorite in a home playoff game, you should win the game.
You're speculating on something that's not even there.
But that's the way it'll play out. If they win a division, it'll be a home playoff game, and they'll be favored in the game.
Can we just see who's there? Let's just see. Maybe
that's what comes along with it.
I get it. So can we get? So that's fine.
Here on Mark
Let's
M
get
says
there first.
That was a very fine Minnesota football season. Mike G, Neal, are you bolstering the resume to take the Valenti gig eventually? Why does it? Because I ask a question. Like I asked a question, Mike. Like why are you pre-programmed to have that response all the time? That's it. It was a fair. Am I out of pocket asking the question?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I just want to know why it's pre.
You do troll a lot though.
What do you mean? Based on what?
And Mike G feeds into it for sure. Like when he was listing all of the championships and like men's tennis, Big Ten champions, women's tennis. It's like, yeah, that sounds about right.
100. Well, and then again, when it gets down to it, and they got to play somebody good, what happens?
I couldn't care less about any other collegiate sport other than football and basketball.
What if Michigan
Somebody
State?
said Michigan State baseball made it to Omaha.
You'd be into it.
Hey, I got a
couldn't name me a
serious
player.
question. Like, I'm
You'd be into it.
not trolling. I'm not doing anything. And this is because I noticed that the women's softball, is Michigan in the softball tournament? Will they be coming, Sam? Do you have any information? No. Do we know if the Michigan women's softball is in action in the regionals?
I'm not
I
sure.
know
I
it's
do not
Go
know.
Seminoles, Gabby.
Perfect game. Perfect game. Perfect game.
That is true.
I'm just gonna say.
The Knowles. Let me take a look real quick here, D-Mac, real quick before we cut to the break. I'm guessing no because they went 10-13 in Big Ten this year. 26 and 25 overall. Big Ten tournament, first round loss to Penn State, 3-2. No.
Who are we pulling for out of the Big Ten?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. I was just wondering.
You tell me,
Is this
Flannel.
not the exciting time of year for Michigan softball, Sam? Is this like last year when we were getting the softball updates?
I mean, to be fair though, college softball is electric when it gets to the College World
100%.
Series.
I watch it.
I love calling
Action.
college softball. I love calling it. The environment, it is absolutely electric. It is a ton of fun, man. College softball is legit. Tell you about the Sports Marketing Agency. They help spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. They have a new podcast out called This Is the S Word. Helps address the stigma associated with seeking help, because guys, I think we know that out there. There seems to be a stigma associated with seeking help. If you're struggling or someone you know is struggling, go to thesportsma.com. Thesportsma.com, the Sports Marketing Agency. They're here to help.
In the picture?
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports. We are the network for Detroit, by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal, Ruhl, Darren, McCarty, Sam, Flannel, Spencer, Raxter here with you. A big shout out to the Outdoor Equipment Company people here stopping by the studio as well. Happy to have you all with us. WoodwardSports.com.
They got that bad boy mower.
Yeah.
Money.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread jumping up in here as well. I did also want to bring this up. You know, we talked a little football. And there was some news, some national news. I know like the fair catch rule was something that maybe we'll get into in a little bit. But something I saw a lot of strong opinions on, which was kind of funny to me, the Thursday night Amazon games. The NFL recently announced that they will be flexible, that they can flex them 28 days out. There's a 28-day time window where they can change it up. And D-Mac, the pushback from the people was incredible. I never expected in a million years that, fans travel to the games and they buy these tickets because they think the game's on a Sunday and stuff like that. And D-Mac, it just kind of made me laugh because I think if we've proven anything as football fans, we've proven that we are addicted.
What do we always talk about? Who runs the show?
Girls.
The NFL runs the show. We can complain about it. Right? We can bitch and moan. We can not like it. And then what do? We alter either our viewing, we alter our travel, we alter whatever it is for our fandom. So, yeah, there might be a little pushback and there might be a small amount of people, obviously, because a Sunday game and a Thursday game, that's a huge deal. But a lot of times football fans are resilient and they're diehards and they'll figure a way out.
And that's why I kind of laughed about it. Like the rage that everybody had. Denver Blair says, I hate the Amazon games. But you know what, though, guys? Get ready for it. Because that's all this is going to be. It's going to continue to be fragmented, and we're seeing it with the Holy Grail. A playoff game will be exclusively streamed on Peacock. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to watch it because we're addicted. We need the hit. That's just the way that it is, D-Mac. And when Thursday night rolls around, if anything, because the ratings on Amazon were better than they expected. It wasn't linear television, which, it lagged behind linear television on Thursday Night Football, but it was more than they thought it was going to be. And here's the hook with the streaming. Why streaming is going to be the platform. Because what does everybody complain about that they can't do when they stream?
Change channel.
Change the channel. So the
So now
NFL
you're locked in.
loves it. Because what are you not going to do during commercial breaks?
Change channels.
So what is that worth to the NFL?
Commercials, because you're going to watch it through osmosis and whatever. It's like watching YouTube TV, and when the commercial comes up and you have to skip it, but it still gets you for 5 seconds or something like that. It's all processed in, so it gives them more selling dollars. My question that sort of popped into my head, what about all the fantasy owners? Like at the fantasy football, like this sort of throws the
I hate
wrench
playing people on Thursday.
What's that?
I hate playing people on Thursday.
That's what I'm saying, especially if you get flexed and it's a guy that you're looking for. You got to make not only set your lineup a lot early, but make a lot of key decisions, right? Depending on that. And what are they flex games, Neal? It's usually good teams. What have good teams, good players. It'll just be interesting. So maybe there's something to it that it's some of the, not the gambling base, because we're going to bet every day no matter what, but maybe the fantasy football, there's something to it there.
And this was the last piece, too, for the Amazon games, because, look, when I went on my little diatribe about I'm not opting in to Panthers-Falcons on Thursday night. I'm not, because I don't have any fantasy players on Panthers or the Falcons. There's no consequence for me that would get me. There's no reason for me to watch that. However, if they flex, I don't know, Cowboys Eagles to Thursday night, that's different, and I'm gonna tap into that, and you are too.
Is the 4 weeks enough time?
I would say so.
Right?
Like
as far as making travel arrangements or knowing in advance. So I mean, at least. Because a lot of times when games get flexed, especially late in the season, what do you know? On the week. Or you have weather days that in 4 days you see, people scrambling. We've hosted games at Ford Field, Minnesota and stuff like that. So I think that the 4 weeks, that at least it shows me that the league might be trying a little bit.
I don't think it is. I think it's the captive.
I just wanted to see how it sounds.
You're held hostage as a viewer.
You're hostage. It doesn't matter what they do. You can bitch or moan, and they know that it is.
And we're going to watch.
The peasants are uprising. Oh, then they're back.
Yeah. And look, am I off base here, Flannel? Like, yes, I'm not watching Falcons-Panthers on a Thursday night, but I am watching Cowboys-Eagles, and you are too.
Yeah,
Flannel.
The reality of the situation is you can not love the idea of football games being on Amazon, but you're going to watch if the game is advantageous. Certainly if it's a playoff game. And as much as I would like to say I'm not going to watch, of course I'm going to watch, because we're all addicted because it's football. And especially now that we all work in sports media, we got to watch the games. We have no choice. And they know that.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Ironically enough, Grandpa Joe chimes in and says, changing the channel takes so much energy, it's exhausting. Well, you just have Charlie do it, Grandpa Joe.
You have him do everything else.
Yeah, you trash human. You got him out there peddling papers so you can sit there and smoke your pipe or whatever it is and never get out of bed for 20 years. It ain't like you're going to be changing the channel anyway, Grandpa Joe. Piece of trash.
Jumping around.
Right. Let me see. Your mom's favorite skater. I will find an NHL game to watch on a Thursday night rather than any NFL game on Amazon. I don't care if it's the Winnipeg Jets and the effing Arizona Coyotes. Well, your mom's favorite skater, you are one of one. Because
I'm watching Atlanta, Carolina before I'm watching that garbage game.
That's this guy.
Sexual. But I don't have, but I'm not your mom's favorite skater. So that's That explains why he's his mom's favorite skater.
Woodward Sports chat poll just put up by Spenmo Rackster. Who does Neal hate more, Grandpa Joe or Michigan? You guys know the answer to this. And again, I don't hate Michigan. I just have higher expectations than you guys do.
I hate Michigan.
I don't.
I openly admit that.
I have friends on the coaching staff of the basketball team. I want my friends to do well.
Ooh, might not be looking good for him this year.
I want my friends to do well. I do. Therefore, I want Michigan to win. It's just I have more expectations for them, I guess, than you guys do. But whatever. And, it's going to be a situation where we're going to watch, and I think you're going to see this pushed even more, because I think as this plays out, D-Mac, it just goes back to they have you held hostage. You have to watch the commercials. And I know your guys' little tricks about, well, you can stream it on a laptop. And then what? You're not going to do that, dude. You spend all that money on that television. You're going to watch it on the television.
And here's where they get you, too. It's also, too, is that up to the minute, right? Up to the time. Live, right? Whereas as I hate lagging behind or whatever like this, my phone goes off while I'm watching the game, right? Like there's something to that too. But
that's the one problem that streaming has. The latency, I was told is the issue, and there's not really much that can be done. You know what I'm saying?
And it doesn't matter if it is done or not. We're just going to suck it up when it comes to football.
Absolutely we are. And we're honest about it. Wow, 50-50 poll. Who does Neal hate more, Grandpa Joe or Michigan? It is exactly 50-50 right now. We don't get a lot of these.
No.
We'll have to let this one cook.
Let it ride.
Yeah, we're going to have to let this one cook and marinate. Which sucks, because I did want to ask the people about what they thought about, Thursday night football. Is it going to make you watch more? But we just D-Mac, it's going to make you watch more, isn't it? Flexing the games.
Yeah, and I think that obviously expectations you have out of your team, because to the fact that if there was, you brought up an Atlanta-Carolina flex game, you're going to watch because you could be playing Atlanta, right? You have the expectations for your team, so you need to watch, teams that you might play because you expect your team to be a division winner playoff team. Speculating on who do you think you could host. I mean, that's being stoked, not scared. But I think that's being realistic.
No, it is.
Until I'm shown differently.
And that does come in. Is it of any? I believe there were 8 teams that voted against it, and the Detroit Lions were one of them.
What's that?
That voted against the ability to flex Thursday night games, which I thought was.
How about a couple of these? Just as we're on this topic, the NFL implemented the college rule on kickoffs and safety kicks inside the 25 where you can fair catch it.
Yeah, I don't have a problem
with that. And also, too, you know what I do like? They made an amendment, right? Called the 49ers rule, that you can start a third quarterback or have an extra quarterback and not take a roster spot. So you don't run into what happened to San Francisco in the playoffs. And you know what? So the self-awareness and everything that we say about the league and the money grab and stuff like this, at least you see some of the effort to make it better so we're not in that situation again.
Peaceful Tim says, I watch no Thursday night games now. I'll watch when the Lions play on Prime. Otherwise, nope. Tim, I don't think you're being honest right now. You tell me you don't watch 1 second of Thursday night football on Amazon Prime. So you don't play fantasy football then? Or wager or anything like that, Tim? Are you lying to me, Tim? I think that. I think if you say that you don't watch a second of it.
Why you always lying?
I think you're lying.
Because you've had like a second, you flipped it on or you've turned it on or whatever like this.
You engage in it in some form or fashion.
You have to. You've walked by, you've stopped, maybe you're in the airport, you've perused it. Maybe you haven't put it on your machine, but you've watched it on somebody else's machine.
Grandpa Joe chimed back in and said, if they change the channel of the game, I'll just have Charlie move the rabbit ears on the TV. See, that's what I knew that. I knew that going in because that's the kind of person you are. Just like, D-Mac, you're the kind of person that gets your hair cut at Lady Jane's.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? Also, if you walk into any Lady Jane's for award-winning haircut experience, you automatically enter for your chance to win not 1, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars. 1 for you, 1 for your wife, girlfriend, or best bud. And if you need a best bud, Spenmo Racks. He's your guy. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week, walking anytime. It's wicked awesome.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Keeping it pushing, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter here with you. Parky Parker in the back as well. Observing behind Spencer Raxter. Peaceful Tim responded, said, and it's all caps too, says, none. I don't watch the games on Thursday night, Neal, I swear. Well, it's fitting that it was in all caps, because that is cap, my friend. At some point, you've tapped in. At some point. I refuse to believe you go an entire NFL season without watching 1 second of Thursday Night Football. Maybe if you didn't have Amazon Prime, maybe I could get with you on that. But by and large, if you have Amazon Prime, you've tapped in at least once or twice. You said Grandpa Joe chimed in as well?
Yeah, Grandpa Joe said he wondered if Lady Jane's did house calls because he only gets out of bed for the chocolate factory.
Yeah, of course. He'll only do it. He'll only do it if it's easy and it benefits him. Prop Do says it's really not hard to not watch. Hey, Peaceful Tim, I promise on my kid's life. and he's got a wife, so you know they have Prime.
Yeah.
Like that's a non-negotiable. All right, Tim, there's one.
Sounds like Kevin Gates promising on his kids' lives.
Yeah. Shane Sandrock, F your prostate, Grandpa Joe.
Yeah, F that prostate.
What did Ryan Lentz do?
Oh, he just had to troll. He had to troll Spenny and say, "Hey, did you see the interview with Carmelo Anthony yesterday saying the Detroit Pistons told him that he was going to be the second pick of the draft?" Lentz, you're a dick. Why would you do that to Spencer?
Yeah, fuck you, Lentz.
Right? You're just going to bring back all those
Hey,
things.
Lentz, how many homers does
Spenny,
Austin Meadows have?
Spenny, we might have to go pay a visit to Mr. Lentz in the back after the show.
Oh, yeah.
That was uncalled for. But did he say that?
I don't know. He's probably wearing his Austin Meadows jersey. But
The
yeah,
correct answer
Melo
is...
did say that, yeah.
0.0.
Well,
The amount of home runs.
Here's the deal with me, though, on the Melo
Thank you,
thing.
Flannel.
There's a very good chance Melo could have been on the floor when the Reggie Miller play happened in place of Tayshaun Prince.
And there's a very good chance the Pistons would have been up 15 at that point. So
Well, we don't know. What we do know is Tayshaun Prince was out there and got the block and they won a chip.
Yeah.
We do know that.
That's fair.
We do know that.
And we do know that Lindsey Hunter said they would have won at least 2 if they had Melo.
Well, but we don't know that.
But,
we know
I
they got
mean,
one.
He's there. I'm just saying.
We know they got one. We know they got one.
Dude, wow, look at this chat poll. I just watched it go up 70 votes, and it's still 50-50.
50-50. Who does Neal hate more, Grandpa Joe or me? We got to let this one ride.
Oh, yeah.
There must be a winner. There must be a winner. But yeah, there was something else I wanted to get into. Mike G, can we talk about Shemi again? That was fun. No. Michigan fans don't want to do that.
See, what's even worse, it was your mom's favorite skater that brought it up. It was Lentz that copied and pasted just because Spenny didn't get a reaction because he wanted to get a reaction and shove it in Spenny's face. You feel that way, Spenny?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't see that. Cool.
Early lunch, Lentz.
Yeah.
Early lunch.
Early lunch. Brad Holmes. What is my thing that I talk about? Scott Harris, Brad Holmes. I think Troy Weaver has done this to a degree. The way he created Jalen Duren, created him out of thin air. The draft capital to get him. My pushback, DMAC, has always been the GM position has changed. The avenues that are available to you, per labor agreements, comp picks, weaponizing cap space, It's changed. You came up through that system.
So let's simplify this, right? Let's say, okay, we're going to go 20 years ago being a GM, you had to be good at 2 things. Now being a GM, you got to be good at 8 things.
8 things. Yeah, bingo.
Would that be like a 4-time multiplier, sort of like the inflation and the dollars
Absolutely.
involved and all that stuff?
And what we were clamoring for, and what I said, I just want a GM that can draft guys that, play, that, are here, that, when you open up the box score of the game, they have numbers next to their name. That was a big ask.
Damn, that's a big ask.
It was because apparently the last Lions regime couldn't do it. It was a huge ask. When I talk about depth of GMs, D-Mac, Brad Holmes, Spenny came up with this, and check this out. In 2021, Brad Holmes let Kenny Golladay, Marvin Jones, and Jared Davis walk in free agency. He used all of those comp picks that he got to draft Kirby Joseph, James Mitchell, and James Houston.
Let him cook. And then he brought back Marvin Jones.
And Marvin Jones
Jared
is here.
Davis
Yes.
at one point.
So when I talk about depth of GM, I think that graphic right there encapsulates what I'm talking about with general managers. And for whatever reason, like that never went viral with Lions fans.
Nope.
Nobody thinks about
Lions
that.
fan.
Nobody talks about that, D-Mac. That is how winning's done in the NFL.
So along the same, in the NFL, right? So in the NFL, that's how winning's done, along the same lines of what we talk about Steve Eisman weaponizing his cap with draft capital, with salary cap, with money, right? That's one of those things. I think in the NFL, when you do that, because look at the players that you got back. You got legitimately the guy that you're expecting to maybe lead the team in interceptions. You got a tight end that has proven that he can block and that he can play and be a part of this team. And then you got a freak, right? A freak outside rush lineman that you still don't know if the league has adopted to his style, right? I mean, getting dudes. That's what the GMs, they get players. We mentioned it at the start of the show when we talked about Scott Harris making trades that affect everyday players on your Tigers organization. That's what we're getting. You mentioned Troy Weaver and doing it with Jalen Duren and doing it, he does it more with the big guys. He's moved things around. He's gotten Bagleys, whatever his mission is. But now we're getting real players, right? Real players that on depth that'll help your team. And Brad Holmes is cooking on that one aspect, right?
That's the only way it can
you
be
have
done.
to be good at that in the NFL to be successful. That's all part of, making the money work and being able to spend the big money on what is it now? Your receivers, your defensive tackles, your quarterbacks, all those guys.
And Burns says, and he turned the Hockenson trade into Branch, Sam Flannel's guy.
Yeah,
That was the byproduct of that.
And the tight end by committee worked last year at the end of the season, and Sam Laporta hopefully is a better version of TJ Hockenson and Brian Branch. Brad Holmes is a wizard.
What do you got, Spenmo?
This is Mike G's making me laugh. So does Rory's taint fuzzy?
I mean, it stands to reason.
Yeah, it makes sense. Oh, you think so?
Neal, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Because Mark Watson brings up a good point. People don't understand that he was an understudy for 20 years with the Rams. How much of learning under the Les Snead tree do you see Brad Holmes operating with?
No, and
do you and it's a different thing, but do you see that experience? And it's sort of, we always talk about coaching trees, but like GM trees, that's relevant too.
Right, because the Rams invented another way of doing it, right? Where they, the whole F the picks thing, it wasn't necessarily F the picks, it was F the first round picks. Because what comes with a first round pick if they're good? Fifth-year option for double-digit millions. Would you rather be obligated to pay for that, or would you rather give Aaron Donald $30 million a year? I think we know the answer to that question. And they use that as a system, as a formula. And what they did, D-Mac, was they said, when we go to free agency, we have a built-in $12 million a year advantage because we don't have a first-round pick.
Right.
I love that stuff.
So to my point, right? Under the tree, right? Brad Holmes still has that. That's not where we're at with this organization yet, but you have to understand that where he came from, he knows how to play that game also, I would expect, right?
Yes.
So that makes you, when we're talking about what tools do you have in the toolbox, Brad Holmes is displaying that he can play all different card games. He can play Hold'em, he can play Omaha, he can play Fish.
Stupid
he
Omaha.
Can play, right? He can
Euchre.
play Crazy Eights. He can play Pinochle.
Euchre.
He can
Gin
do it
Rummy.
all. Gin Rummy. Let's go.
Tonk.
There it is.
War.
There it is.
War.
Absolutely.
WoodwardSports.com
That's the
chat thread.
idea.
Brandon Katz said the Rams are not a model for success. You can't deny the
They
system.
won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you can't, and they
If it's
did it
about winning
systematically.
Super Bowls, right? Like, that's the whole thing. Would we all give, if to put ourselves in the Rams situation, but to have a Super Bowl win, I think we'd all take it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
He said the Rams destroyed their franchise for 5 years to win one Super Bowl. I'll sign that contract right now.
Yeah, we destroyed ours for 50 years to win none. What's your point? Pie Gal, yeah. Cribbage, yeah. Big fan.
I'm a big Pie Gal guy.
I like Pie Gal.
Yeah, I'll play some Pie Go at the casino.
That's because you like it because it's a drinking game.
Yeah. Well, they're all drinking games if
Well,
you
there
try. Who does Neal hate more? WoodwardSports.com chat poll.
where
We've
we
had
at?
some movement. Michigan at 52%. Grandpa Joe at 48%. I vehemently disagree with that. I have a shirt on that says Grandpa Joe sucks. I don't have a shirt on that says Michigan sucks. I'll wear that one tomorrow.
Hey, can we get Grandpa Joe in a Michigan shirt? Oh.
Do you think Grandpa Joe's a Michigan fan?
a Michigan fan, Sam?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, he talks about Ron Kramer all the time.
Ron Kramer, yeah. What's that other guy? Jim Mandich.
He was at the game when you guys beat the Chicago School of Dentists.
Hey, he might have been at that 1969 game where they beat Ohio State 24-12. That powerhouse Woody Hayes team that was considered the best of all time, and Michigan waxed them.
I think he was there in 1918,
Do you
too.
remember that game, Flannel?
What, the 1969 game?
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't there, but I've seen lots of highlights.
What about the 1912 game against the Michigan agricultural schools? Was that a big win?
Chicago School for the Blind.
I mean, there's a lot of schools in the history of college football that have played schools like that back in the day, but only Michigan gets clowned for it. I wonder why.
Because they're still doing it.
I mean, the last 2 years scheduling it's been weak. I'll admit it. It's been weak.
I'm influencing the poll, I guess, because now Michigan's up to 53%.
Yeah.
So we probably shouldn't have done that. We're trying. We have rarely had a poll, though, that gets this deep into it. We're going to leave this one up till we get back from the 12:50 break.
That's fair.
Okay?
Okay.
When we get back from the 12:50 break, that's when we're calling it. So we will see it. Grandpa Joe says, Fielding Yost used to clean my gutters. He was a fine young man. Fielding Yost.
Bump Elliott.
I know. Where were we at? Oh, yeah. Cintron. That's right. Cintron. The official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings. And right now they have an exclusive offer for Woodward Sports fans with the limited edition Red Wings 6-pack sampler box. $15, free shipping. Boom. Go to drinkcintron.com/Woodward. You can try it all. The great tasting Cranberry, the classic, and the sugar-free. You know what? Why wait? Go to drinkcintron.com/Woodward. $15, free shipping, the Red Wings themed packaging, all of it. If you're the two people that haven't tried Cintron as of yet, it's exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. It's also served at Keyworth Stadium as well. As a matter of fact, when you bump into Darren McCarty at either of those events, there's a 77% chance that he will be drinking a Cranberry Cintron. I'm just saying. Cintron.
Cranberry. Drink it, live it, love it with Cintron.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization, we serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Less than 10 minutes left on our poll, and it's maybe the most pivotal poll, D-Mac, that we've ever asked of the WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Who does Neal, that's me, hate more, Michigan or Grandpa Joe? It's a knockdown, drag-out affair. We've seen both sides leading at various times here today. We have about 10 minutes left in this one, so get your thoughts out there. Just remember, all I ask is to let you know I have a Grandpa Joe Sucks t-shirt on, courtesy of the people at Shred It, so thank you for that.
Which tells you how much they think you hate Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah, I know we talked a little bit about the NBA earlier, but the Detroit Pistons, and I would anticipate there's going to be some news soon. As far as what day, I don't know, but in the near future, I think that they will announce their coach, and once that happens, then all eyes turn to the draft, right, in the NBA draft. And I do want to get the people's thoughts real quick. The number 5 overall pick, the Armageddon scenario happened, though it was the most likely. The Pistons ended up with the number 5 pick. Okay, we cried about it. We did. We shed our tears.
Yeah.
Now you got to move on, because the draft's going to happen, D-Mac, and you're going to have the number 5 pick.
I just felt like I got kicked in the nuts where I got kicked in the nuts before, so it really didn't hurt that much this time.
Yeah.
It still hurt, but
it tingled up the groin area.
It is what it is. Now it's time to
lower
go to
back.
work. This is what you're dealt. This is, we've said this, the fact that the spotlight's not on Troy Weaver, but the lights are getting brighter, and it's time for him to show direction with this team. Yeah. Even more so. Now, the number 1 is they have to be healthy. Which way? Now, at number 5, are they going to draft somebody there? Are they going to trade out? Is that a possibility? I think anything's up for grabs. I think you nailed it. My first question before this, though, when do we expect the coach to be named? Because are we not getting closer as each day goes by, getting closer to the draft? Don't we want to know who the coach is sooner than later?
I would wager it would be very soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like very soon by this weekend?
Possibly. Yeah.
Okay. That's all I'm wondering.
That's not inside info or anything like that. It's just kind of a gut feeling.
All right, because then that shows like direction, and maybe depending if it's a veteran coach or if it's a younger coach, that will sort of give you an idea which way we're leaning towards. But what are you looking right now at number 5? Is there somebody out there that you think can help this team?
And that's what it comes down to, right? And so we go back to history. And a lot of people have talked about it, like the Wembanyama thing and the overall number 1 picks. Number 1 overall pick doesn't have the track record of slam dunk success that we think it does. Now, I understand that this is an isolated prospect here, but there will be questions, and we'll see how it plays out. And guys of his size that have been drafted in the past have struggled in certain areas health-wise. That's real. That's relevant. Now, that doesn't impact him. However, D-Mac is not a fan of his feet right off the jump. We established that.
No, it's just like, wow. I don't know I'm not a fan, but I mean, it scared the living shit out of me. If you haven't seen Wembanyama's feet, I mean, his big toe is like the size of my forearm. I mean, it just threw me away. I mean, go back and look at my initial reaction. Have you ever seen that?
No. I've never seen anybody have a boomerang for a toe. I've never seen that before.
Right, which I mean, thank goodness they're so big and that so it supports, because he's still growing at 7'4", 7'5".
But Spenny, you have a there's a graphic, right, of the past overall number 5 picks in the draft. And I'm curious to get this laid out. Here's the last 10 5th overall picks. Now, obviously, the Pistons got Jaden Ivey last year, which I have another Pistons question we'll get to in a second. Jalen Suggs 2 years ago. Suggs turned out pretty good, I would
I'd say the worst out of the top 5 so far.
What's that?
The worst out of all the top 5 picks, I'd say, is Suggs that year.
Yeah. Trae Young was a number 5 pick. Darren Fox was a number 5 pick. Chris Dunn, he had a moment. Mario Hezonja was I was big on Hezonja. I was wrong. He was terrible.
Darius Garland's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Darius Garland's
is
good.
Trae Young If you would take one guy off that list, would he be
Trae Young or Jaden Ivey?
Trae Young. I'd probably take Darren Fox over Trae Young though. Maybe even Darius Garland.
Yeah, and I was going to get to that too. But the moral of that story, D-Mac, is I think once we've kind of recollected ourselves after the lottery debacle, more often than not, you get a solid NBA player.
A solid NBA player. Maybe that's the thing. And it's not lowering your expectations or whatever, but, from getting the hype of getting a generational player. And look at the NBA draft and the NHL draft at the same thing with Wembanyama and Connor Bedard at the top. So we missed out on those. But now, is there a piece there that could be an integral part to help these young guys, help the Ivies, the Cunninghams, and the Durans? Is there a guy out there? I ask you, basketball guys, is there a solid NBA player? We don't need another star. We need a solid dude.
And D-Mac, that's where I'm at with it. And this
is there
playoffs,
a dude out there, bro?
Is there a dude in the role of what I want?
Yes,
because
that's what I think now.
Yes,
what you're looking at is 5. Is that who fits the best role to help this team moving forward? Something that Sam Flannel doesn't know about, but role players play a huge part in championships. They might not play a huge part in Hall of Fames, but in championships they do. In every sport.
I need a 3-and-D guy. You have to have one. If your wing is not an elite scorer, they have to be able to shoot the 3 and defend. They have to. Look at the Denver Nuggets. Why are the Denver Nuggets good? Well, there's a couple reasons. They have the unicorn of today's game in Nikola Jokic. And obviously that's the baseline. The Pistons do not have a, quote, unicorn, right? Many teams do not have a unicorn. Most teams do not. A high percentage of the teams don't have the unicorn. But I'll tell you what, because they've had Jokic and they've had Murray for a long time. But who's one of those glue guys, Sam Flannel, of the Nuggets team that never gets enough credit, especially around here?
Contavious Caldwell-Pope.
He is exactly Contavious Caldwell-Pope.
Oh, yeah.
KCP.
Dude, yeah.
He is exactly what you need.
So look at his career with the Lakers, everywhere traveled around. That dude, right? You need that dude. Is that dude out there to make everybody better? Like the number one thing that you mentioned, right? And I've heard you guys talk about in the past, that is Cade Cunningham one of our best defenders?
Yes.
Right? So he is. So number one of last year, I'd be looking for a guy that has the 3 and D, but has maybe the D first, right? As a priority. More of a, am I wrong? Is there a Tayshaun out there? Is that sort of a guy that we're looking for, sort of a Tayshaun-esque guy?
Yeah, and like, I don't know, like the book on the Thompson twins and stuff like that, the G League guys.
Hold me now in your loving arms.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where I am looking for a specific role. I want the best 3-and-D guy that's out there, because you have to have it to win. You have to.
Do you have somebody on the top of your list, Mr. Ruhl?
The G League's tough, man, because I don't watch a lot because I'm busy with college basketball. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get with my scout people that are in the league. I'm gonna get with my scout people and see what they have to say. I've already reached out. We're gonna work the lunch angle and have a bourbon or two and chop it up, because it's what I do. I go to the source.
I love it. Hey,
so I'm
Sam,
curious to see.
Maybe Sam, is there somebody out there at 5 like you? Do you agree with Neal as far as what you're looking for talent-wise to fill this team? And is there a guy? Are you high on the Thompson twins?
The Thompson twins, I'm not super high on. If I were to pick 2 players at the number 5 that I think could fill a role for this team, I would say either Cam Whitmore out of Villanova or Taylor Hendricks out of Central Florida. And Taylor Hendricks, he shot 39% from 3, and he's 6'9". Cam Whitmore is a little bit more athletics, bigger, stronger, but not quite as good of a shooter. So either of those 2, I think, could help fill a need. Like Neal said, we might not get a star out of those 2, but if they pan out to what they're supposed to be, like a better Contavious Caldwell-Pope, that's a win at number 5.
We might get into this a little more on a future show, but just real quick around the room. Flannel, are you happy with Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, and Jalen Duren?
Yes.
Unequivocally happy?
Yes.
Are you happy with those three?
I'm happy with going into it. They got to be healthy, and I want to see them play together. What's the thing we haven't seen in the last 2 years?
Haven't
is
seen them
this
play
team
together.
Everybody
That's
playing
fair.
together. So yes, I like the fact that I have these three. I believe in these three. Now, can they be healthy?
Spenmo, are you happy with that threesome?
Yes.
You're happy with any threesome?
Not any, but yeah.
No, are you happy with those?
Yes.
Like lock, stock. So the room is unanimously, and I would imagine that the fan base, 100%. Yeah, I think Jalen Duren's going to be a star, man.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that.
Mm-hmm.
So if we like those three, then I don't understand. I don't understand the shade. Like it's just the disappointment, right? Of not getting the number one pick.
Yeah.
Because I've heard him come under fire all of a sudden out of nowhere, and the Pistons as an organization come under fire.
No, I don't understand that. Why people are mad at Troy Weaver for not landing the number one pick.
Yeah.
Like he did everything he could that was in his power to do it. He got you the worst record. He got you the best odds. Just didn't happen.
Yeah. And when we come back from the commercial break, we're gonna wrap up the poll. Who does Neal hate more? Michigan or Grandpa Joe? Michigan at 53% right now. I will give, as we ride off into the break, maybe this will influence. Is it safe to say that KCP was a better pick than Trey Burke?
Absolutely. Unequivocally.
Or is that me being a hater?
No, that's not you being a hater. Trey Burke was a disappointment in the NBA. He just was. And KCP has carved out quite the career. If he wins another championship as a role player, you can put him up there with the likes of the Danny Greens.
You know what's not a disappointment no matter how much you choose?
No matter what.
Cousins Maine Lobster. They'll never be a disappointment because Woodward Sports loves lobster, and what better way to get your fix than Cousins Maine Lobster? With 2 trucks rolling around the city of Detroit, you can be sure to find the best lobster rolls, lobster tots, and lobster tacos to power through the day. Go to cousinsmainelobster.com to find their schedule, or you can scan that QR code right there and figure out where they are rolling around the city. Make sure you check out Cousins Maine Lobster.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts, professional technicians who take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. But I need you to call Guardian Alarm today. Here's the number, 1-800-STAY-OUT. 24/7 professional monitoring call anytime, day or night. Know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as it's needed. But I need you to call Guardian today. The number, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Technology backed by people. Yes, real people. Flesh and blood, because your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work. And Homo sapiens. Yes, real people who have been proven to care. Listen, they care so much. And you hear this for so long. No matter how I feel about Sam Flannel, the legend killer, Guardian Alarm has his back with flannel protection. How many straight days of flannel protection, Sam?
282.
Woo! 282?
Yes.
282 straight days of flannel protection, which shows you that Guardian Alarm does not care who you are. Business, personal, they got your back. So give them a call today. Here's the number. 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Stay out of the playoffs, Lakers. Figured I'd steer into the skid.
Steer into the skid. Stay out of my pockets, anybody who bet on the Lakers. Give me that in mind.
Stay out of bed for once in your life, Grandpa Joe, you bum.
Goodbye to the playoffs, AD. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Tell them, Big D Energy, we sent you.
Final segment of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Shut it down, Flannel. Shut it down, Spenmo. Who does Neal hate more? It is a final, and Michigan, 51% of the vote. Grandpa Joe, 49% of the vote. We've never had a poll that close before.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that was the most polarizing one we have ever had. So
255 votes, too. Wow.
We've never had that.
Wow.
Just going back and forth. Fitty.
I understand your hatred for Grandpa Joe, but I didn't really understand how you permeated Michigan hatred to the people.
It was the Trey Burke comment at the end.
That was it. Put you over the edge.
It did.
And you know what? Well calculated.
It's true.
He wanted it. He wanted it, Michigan.
Yeah. Well, no, it's because I wanted that to have an impact. No, D-Mac, I wanted it to have an impact because it's a factual statement. But that's Michigan fans for you.
Is there really one
transparent?
Is there really anybody out there that thinks that Trey Burke was a better NBA player
Doesn't
than
matter.
Davis Caldwell Pope?
You hate that it's factual.
I mean, I wanted Trey Burke to do well, but I wanted KCP to do even better with the Pistons. So, to be fair, he's carved out a career more with the Lakers and the Nuggets.
This is pretty cool. Real cream of wheat. Neal be truthing when he's talking about every team. I try to. Real cream of wheat. I try to. Shane Sandrak. Neal doesn't hate Michigan. He deals in fact. And that's it. So,
you know what?
That's what I try to do.
Let me touch on something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because Big Mike Gentry, BMG hit it yesterday on the head. If you see the way that we were talking about the GMs all throughout our 4 professional sports teams and the way that they've been making moves and the way that we've narrated it, Steve Yzerman, I guarantee this draft is gonna cook. You want to see somebody cook hard, and whether that's trades, signings, free agency, all this stuff, I think that this is going to be one of the biggest off seasons. This is my prediction, and I don't know nothing because they don't tell me crap. But I just see the writing on the wall being raised by the same book that this is the opportunity to make a big splash. That's because there's some turmoil in other organizations that he's going to capitalize on. What you have to agree is that he is the best in the business, or at least one of the best in the business at what he does. And this is all the way as the other organizations' blocks fall and talent becomes available. I look to you, Neal, and I go, we have the money. We have the draft capital, right? All this stuff. Be prepared, because he's going to cook. And it's just having the faith. That's the hashtag Wiser Plan 1919.
And part of me wants to table this till tomorrow because I have because I can't do it justice in a minute.
No, you can't. And then I sort of did that on purpose.
Yeah,
a little bit of a
but
segue.
We are going to get into that.
Yeah, well,
tomorrow.
no, we can. But it's just one of these things. And now
because I see it already, D-Mac. Go get Austin Matthews. Go get Austin Matthews.
It's not that easy.
No, it's not
it's
that
not
easy.
that easy. And you think that Toronto's going to give up Austin Matthews? You know what? But there are guys on that roster. Like if I'm speculating to whatever, the questions are being made and nobody's out of the question. But it goes to who's on that short list. Like I don't know Yzerman's short list.
Yeah. Because I heard this, and again, we were talking about like other media entities around town. I heard this, and some of like the trade packages to Toronto were laughable to get Austin Matthews. And I have a critical question tomorrow about Austin Matthews that I'll drop to you.
See, I don't get this. This is ridiculous, Brandon Katz. Where he says Yzerman is failing because he's depending too much on the draft. The draft hasn't even started. And what is his track record of doing at the draft? Oh, trading picks for players that play that we talked about? So you're like the fact that he accumulated a stockpile and a war chest with draft picks, isn't that the stupidest thing you ever heard?
Brandon Katz is also the guy.
No, but please tell me that that's not the stupidest comment because you haven't seen what he's done with these draft picks yet, right? Are you going to say that when he moves these? Now, I agree. There's questions if he uses every one of these draft picks for this organization because it doesn't put you ahead. But he's using these, don't be dumb. That's why it's have a hard time. When you can't think. He's just backed up his war chest with picks. He hasn't done anything with them yet.
Would you
I was just going to say, he's also the guy that in the chat repeatedly says that Detroit can't sign big free agents and needs to build through the draft. So, he contradicts himself because he's an idiot.
Yeah. But here's the flip side of that coin, and we'll ride off on this one, D-Mac. The consolation prize to that is if he does make all those picks, I guarantee, unequivocally, he will draft an all-star with one of those 3
here's the
consecutive
thing.
second-round
I
picks.
unequivocally think that he's going to sign an all-star. So whatever if he drafts it or if he signs it, whatever like this, no. The writing's on the wall with all the turmoil, whether it's Toronto, Winnipeg, all these different guys that are up in the air. If I'm going to place a bet today on who do I think that's not on this team that might be is a guy like Connors. Kyle Connors is from here for 1C out of or you also look at like a guy like Dubois, but don't I think he might be picking off of Winnipeg's roster.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about it tomorrow, as a matter of fact, because I'm going to deal in reality. If you want non-reality, then go to a different entity. If you want to deal in reality tomorrow with the Austin Matthews thing, holler back at 11 o'clock tomorrow. I got a guy over here with me that he'll mark me on it, no doubt about it. For D-Mac, for Sam Flannel, for Spencer Raxler, my name's Neal Ruhl. Thanks for tapping in, Big D Energy. Well, see you later.